As Ryan mentioned, my name is Tara. I'm the Culture and Sustainability Lead here at Tax Traders. Tax Traders is a New Zealand-based company, and we've grown from 2 co-founders in a startup to just under 40 people in a group of companies over the past 14 years. And Tax Traders was founded on 2 core beliefs. So one, that the benefits of the New Zealand tax system should be available to all Kiwi businesses, not just the big corporates. And 2, that the workplace can be a place of joy and satisfaction, and maybe even love and healing if we were really to get into it. But ultimately, we believe that business can and should be a force for good. And that starts with how your team experiences you as an employer. So throughout the session today, you'll hear me referring to Tax Traders and Taxi as the group of companies that exist today. We share an office, we share resources, and we share a culture. And I'm going to share today how we've built that culture, one that wins trust, hearts, and then a few awards along the way. And I'll share some of the practical things that we've done to make that possible. And pictured here is our amazing team at the Best Places to Work Awards last year when we took out overall in New Zealand. We're actually back there again tonight, so keep your fingers and toes crossed for us. I'm hoping that we'll make the stage again. It really does take a lot to build and maintain a strong culture. And honestly, I could speak for days, but I have about 25 minutes. So I've chosen to focus on our values, how we've created strategy as a team, the ways in which we make it easy to do remarkable work, and then how we have some fun together. And hopefully we'll have some time for questions at the end. So almost every business will have a set of values that guides them, and Ryan did touch on this as part of his presentation as well. It's often the case that leaders will determine what those values are. They will launch them to the team. Maybe they get printed on a poster and hung on a wall, or potentially they will get added to an employee handbook that gets tucked away and gathers dust. That is definitely not what happens here at Tax Traders and Taxi. We refer to our values as our DNA because it really is at the core of every single thing that we do. And this is not necessarily a founder-led initiative. Our DNA has been co-created and shaped with the team, and the elements have evolved over the years to reflect where we are as a business or now as a group of companies. It shows up in daily things like our decision-making, in the way we work with clients, and actually the clients that we choose to work with or not work with. And most importantly of all, in the daily interactions that we have with one another. We refer to our DNA every single day, and everything we do comes back to it. We hire based on it. We will offboard based on our DNA. Performance is tied to it. Technical skills will only get you so far here. And these are the elements as they exist today. Again, they have evolved over the years, but they are to show integrity, practice generosity, innovate courageously, cultivate joy, and see the person. And what's really beautiful about these is I strongly believe that if you pulled any of our team members aside and asked them to name them and describe them, they would be able to do it in detail and give you examples of how they have used them probably that day alone. And they're not ranked in any order. Not one is more important than the other, but we do use them as a set of checks and balances to guide our decision making. And so an example of this is, yes, we will absolutely practice generosity, but not to the point that we stop showing integrity to our budgets. We will continue to innovate courageously, but not to the point that we stop seeing the person that the technology was intended for. And we use it for recognition. So we use 15.5 as our employee engagement software. And so when we're giving a high five or when we're recognizing somebody on the team, we tag the DNA element in, again, to bring it back to our DNA, but to highlight the behavior that got us to an outcome, not just the outcome itself. And we celebrate it. We celebrate the people who embody our DNA very well. This photo was taken last year at our annual team retreat. That's where we host our DNA awards. And the lucky winners will walk away with the kudos and the deserved recognition. They get a beautiful certificate, and probably most importantly or most coveted is the DNA shoes, where we embroider the DNA element on them. We literally wear these with pride in the office. And so if you're sitting there and wondering, gosh, I can't remember the last time I referred to our values, or I actually don't know what our values are. That's okay. But I would encourage you to try to bring them to life in the daily behaviors that you can observe, and maybe not just having them on a poster. Next up is strategy, and our approach to strategy here is pretty simple. So every 3 years, we gathered the team together for a combination of sessions. So some team-wide, some sessions happen in smaller teams or chapters. We pencil in some time for solo brainstorming. And really what we're trying to do is encourage sky's the limit thinking. We ask the following questions as prompts. So where do we want to be in 3 years? What do we want to look back on and be really proud of? We actually ask a whole bunch of other questions, but these are the two most important ones. And what happens next is a series of idea wrangling. We do some more brainstorming. We draft some copy. We share it with the team. We do some copy proofing. We probably add in a whole bunch more ideas and then wrangle them back down until we land on something that looks like a strategy for our group of companies. We also create a document that is a commitment of how we're going to work together over the next 3 years. So the strategy is the what, and then the foundations booklet, as we refer to it, is the how. We then take it all and run it through a DNA filter. And again, this is just to ensure that everything we've committed to is aligned to who we are as an organization. And it's worth mentioning here that there are no sacred cows when it comes to this work. So we don't just talk about our commercial aspirations or the tech releases that we want to launch, although those things are very important and they keep the lights on. We revisit our DNA and we ask, is this still right for us? And we look at our ways of working and we push them around to see if they still resonate with us, if there's anything that we've missed. We look at the ways that we contribute to the community and to our charitable partners, again, to make sure that we're actually doing enough in that area and we're showing up in the best way possible for those around us. And then once we have nailed the strategy, which does take a little bit of time, that's when we bring it to life. So everybody on the team receives a personalized copy of the booklets that you can see here. We refer to it as our 3-year play. And then, of course, we celebrate. And the most important part, say, of this whole process is that we remove any form of hierarchy. We seek diverse input and we consult with the people who actually have to deliver on this. So the strategy isn't something that is inflicted upon our team. They have the opportunity to provide a whole lot of input and direction. And this process definitely takes longer than if we did just decide the strategy and share it with the team. But what we get in return is full commitment. We get a real sense of ownership. And most importantly of all, we get this team-wide sense of pride in the work that we're going to do together. So for us, it's really important that we create strategy collectively and then we bring it to life with clarity. And again, like the values, not just living on a poster, we refer to those booklets probably every day or before any big project is kicked off or when we're making decisions. We will refer to the book and ask if it's going to get us closer to where we want to be in 3 years. So making it easy to do remarkable work. Now, when we're talking about making it easy for your team to do remarkable work, we're not talking about keeping the pantry fully stocked or having a fancy coffee machine in the office, although those things definitely help for sure. What we're referring to here is removing barriers, seeing your team and supporting them to do the best work of their lives, and also while showing up as the best version of themselves. Now, this is definitely not a one-size-fits-all approach, but I will share some of the things that we do at Tax Traders and Taxi that work pretty well for us. So first of all, we understand that our team have hobbies and passions and these huge lives that don't just exist before 9 and after 5 p.m. We try to make it as easy as possible for people to design their work around their lives and not the other way around. So for us, that looks like having a nanny in the office a couple of days a week to support parents. That's usually our mums who have young kiddies. And kids are welcome here any time of the day. We have snacks, we have toys, we have games, we have quiet spaces for them to do their homework. We often get a cohort of kiddies in the door once school time finishes. And outside of school time, we do operate a fully covered school holiday program. And again, this is to ease the cognitive load for our parents at school holiday time. It's a nightmare trying to balance all of the things at any given time. And it's great for us to have kids in the office. They bring a whole bunch of energy, although I will note we do have noise cancelling headphones, so the work does continue. This photo was taken just a few weeks ago after the kids got back from, I'm going to say, go-karting. But yeah, you can see all their beautiful, happy faces. And it may seem sort of excessive or an expensive exercise, but the school holiday program equates to 0.16% of our annual budget. So it's really not a lot for us to accommodate. We're really big on creating systems that work for people here. It was the core driver for our co-founders when they started the business, and that extends to our team as well. It's really important for us that our entire team, not just our parents, but our entire team work in a way that works for them. So when we talk about flexibility, what we mean is that we trust our team to make choices that serve them as well as the wider team. We don't look at flexibility as a perk. Again, it's just an enabler of remarkable work. And when it comes to the office, we have a beautiful office and we're very lucky. But the office is just one tool in the toolbox of high performance. It's definitely not the culture itself, but it's a space that is here to support it. And we recognize that not everyone experiences work in the same way. And we have worked this into the office design so that we can accommodate open spaces for collaboration. And we have quieter spaces like the one that I'm in now for that more focused work. This is a great place to come when the kids are in the office with the noise cancelling headphones. We celebrate neurodiversity here because different brains bring all sorts of different brilliance. And for our neurodiverse team members, we just don't want them to spend their energy masking or managing how they show up. It's not a good use of anyone's energy. If anyone on our team decides that they want to take the step to get assessed, we provide support for that. So we do that in a couple of ways. Financial being one, we will cover the cost of the assessment, but we offer coaching and all types of support to help them on their journey, and also for everyone to understand how we can work best together. It's worth mentioning our entire team has access to unlimited counselling and executive coaching. And again, that is just to encourage everyone to show up as the best versions of themselves. One of probably our most important rituals is our deep work time. I would recommend this book for anyone that would like to dig into this a little bit more. But the TLDR version of this is that deep work is essentially the opposite of shallow work. Shallow work being that cognitively demanding, distracting, really hectic sort of work. If you imagine it to be the hamster on the hamster wheel, the never-ending race to nowhere. Deep work is intentional. It's distraction-free. So for us, that means between the hours of 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. on a Tuesday and 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. on a Thursday, we provide an opportunity for our team to do undisturbed, focused work. It really is a blessing. So that means no internal Slack messages, no internal emails, no internal meetings. It's 6 hours a week where you can really get things done. It's really great for the people on our team who are super generous with their time. And that does often happen in smaller teams, that we have kind of everyone can often end up across everything. And so it's hard to find the time to just sit down and get things done. I should mention at this point, when I'm talking about making it easy to do remarkable work, it's not just about adding the perks in, it's about removing the friction. This is definitely not about making it comfortable all the time. It's about leaning into the discomfort, holding each other to a really high standard, having those difficult conversations, and preparing our team for that. But that is a muscle that needs to be built over time. Giving real feedback and expecting transparency and honesty. Now, this is the part that takes a lot of hard work. It is far easier to organize a nanny to come into the office a couple of days a week than it is to get good at having difficult conversations. But once you can crack that, that's what creates the safe environment and pushes us towards better outcomes. We're pretty big on Lencioni here. This is Yena, who is in our office a couple of days a week with our nanny. We've already got her onto the 5 dysfunctions of a team. Excuse me, but we do refer back to Lencioni a couple of times a year, again, just because it's a muscle that needs to be constantly worked. But when you do this and you create a safe workplace with high trust and high accountability, it's so much easier to raise the standard of what remarkable work looks like. And I have a really great example to demonstrate this. So this is Duncan. Duncan is our tech lead, and he has been across many different projects here at Tax Traders. Before Taxi was even called Taxi, it had been a long, very slow process to bring which it's our direct-to-consumer offering, to life. And one day, Duncan said in a very public forum, "This is an embarrassment for Tax Traders, and if we don't change the way we're doing this project, we are never going to get it out the door." So Duncan has ASD, and so direct comments come really easily to him, but he was right. And the turnaround on what would become Taxi from that point on was pretty special. Taxi is now in the world and growing more and more traction every day, but it may not have gotten to the point that it was so quickly without Duncan pushing us to raise our standards and to do remarkable work. I should also mention that this led to Duncan winning an award at our DNA Awards later that year as well. So I would encourage you to find out what's getting in the way of your team doing remarkable work, and then begin to remove the barriers, just one at a time. I've covered kind of the serious things, but we do actually have a lot of fun here at Tax Traders and Taxi. We're really good at celebrating. So we celebrate the wins, we celebrate the learnings, and overall we just have a lot of fun together as a team. Sometimes this does happen intentionally, like during our Wellbeing Month, when we take our team out of the office for the day for what I would probably describe it as a kid's birthday party for adults, party bags and hats included. Or it happens when we celebrate with our team and their families. Our team gives us 40 hours of their week, and so we pay a lot of their families play a huge part in the success of the business by supporting them. And these are the moments that we kind of pause, we celebrate what we've built, and those moments really matter. But the real magic is actually in those unstructured moments. That's the laughs in the kitchen while you're waiting for the coffee machine, or that witty banter that you get on Slack, or just the comfort of cracking some maybe inappropriate jokes when you can feel the tension of a busy week. Because fun is, my background is event management, so I would love to say that it's as easy as this, but we can't just schedule for us to come together and have some fun. It's not necessarily a scheduled event. It's really a sign that our team feels connected and safe. And when you can create these opportunities for people to show up as themselves, the fun just kind of happens naturally. It's not something that needs to be forced. So if you do want to create a culture where people can show up and have some fun, you need these structured celebrations, but you also need to create an environment that encourages genuine connection. So before we go, I just wanted to share some of the key moments and the milestones that our culture has helped us to navigate. It isn't kind of just the fun, superficial stuff. Over the past 14 years across Tax Traders and now Taxi, we've grown from a business being our co-founders at a kitchen table to a team of 38 and counting. We're hiring for a couple of new roles at the moment. We've built a business with turnover approaching $75 million. We've got an employee net promoter score of 89 and a customer NPS of 84. And that means that our people and our clients aren't just satisfied, they're actually advocating for us. We've achieved a solid 31% cumulative annual growth in transactions and in revenue. We've survived and grown through things like COVID. We've had some shocking interest rates. We've had 2 recessionary periods. We completed a $10 million capital raise to launch our second business, that's Taxi. And yes, we have won some awards along the way, most recently Inspiring Workplaces, and who knows, potentially Best Places to Work again tonight, we'll see. But when we talk about culture, we're not just talking about the fluffy stuff or the sentimental stuff. We're talking about something that really works. But really, I couldn't finish this off by sharing some of the outcomes when it comes to our people, because that's actually where the most important outcomes are. It's in the lives that changed. So this is Carla. Carla was happy for me to share this. She is our people lead across both businesses here, and she shared in her reflection, when I arrived at Tax Traders, I was anxious and badly impacted by a toxic work environment that had stripped me of all confidence in who I was and what I was capable of. In the 2 years I've been here, my life is completely transformed. I feel fully seen for the first time, and more than anything, I feel I can be my best and most true self. I know I am valued and that I am precious just as I am. And she goes on to share, when people ask me why I look and act so differently now, I can only say it is because I work at Tax Traders. And Garam. So Garam is a member of our finance team. You would have seen the beautiful Yina just a few slides back. And Garam had a lot of uncertainty and anxiety around being a first-time mom. And she shared with us, when I became pregnant, I was so worried about what was going to happen with my career. Tax Traders has changed my experience of being a mom by providing so much support in those early days, but also making it clear that I was a valued member of the team and that they were committed to my development and also my role as a mom. Being able to bring Yina into the office with me meant I was able to return to work sooner than I was expecting. Garam was itching to come back, and she didn't suffer the terrible guilt of leaving her baby in daycare or with other family members. And Yina is actually now our favorite colleague. I should say that. She's actually here today. So that's it. Hopefully we have some time for some questions, or some questions have come through. And this is kind of just a snapshot of the work that we do here. There's a lot that goes into our culture. It's an ongoing piece of work, but we're always happy to share policies or some things that are working, maybe some things that haven't worked. And so I would encourage anyone to please reach out if you would like to know more. But I don't know, Ryan, if we've got any questions in the meantime.
Thank you, Tara. That was unreal. That was amazing. Awesome.
Thanks.
Thanks for sharing what you do.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, honestly. And we, as much as we love winning the awards, Ryan, we're sort of, if we don't win, we feel pretty encouraged that businesses are just starting to do better. So.
Oh yeah, well, geez, you're doing an awful lot. I mean, and you shared an awful lot. You know, the what you do, the why, the incredible initiatives, and then also the results too. Not just awards, but the testimonials from your people.
Yeah.
It obviously takes a lot and spans a lot of elements. You know, I love the emphasis on strategy, the concept around remarkable work, and some great initiatives. A nanny at the office, school holiday program. Like, come on, how good is that?
We are pretty lucky. And I think the thing is, though, it's not a one-way thing. Our team also gives us a lot. And I think because I actually started out here as the event manager, and a couple of months in, I said to Nick, our co-founder, I'm really intrigued by your culture. Can I please work in people and culture? And it didn't happen straight away, but they made that happen for me. But I think our team are so invested in keeping our culture strong. So yes, we do give a lot, but we get a whole lot back in return as well.
It's amazing. Yeah, it sounds like, you've given, I think, these common workplace challenges like really careful consideration, and the solutions to that, I imagine, as a consequence of that thinking, has been really creative and also practical, and provide flexibility, support, and then also bring it back to strategy, performance, and culture. I know it sounds like a lot, but you've broken it down in such a way that I think it seems doable for anyone listening. We've got time for a few questions. You mentioned that there. We've got 5 minutes. So if anyone listening would like to ask Tara, then please pop your questions into the chat. I know we've got people joining us from different platforms. We've got people joining from YouTube and StreamYard and our website. So if you've got a chat feature there, or a comment feature, pop a question, throw one in, and we'll try and get to it. But I could think of a million questions while we're waiting on a few. The first question I had was, lots of organizations struggle to maintain culture when they grow, and you've grown really fast. And I've heard that analogy before of about, once you grow past the size where you can't share a pizza anymore, you actually start to have to, properly think about some of this stuff. How have you avoided the kind of struggles that often come with growth?
I don't know if we avoided them completely, to be honest. I mentioned kind of early in the presentation that we will onboard and offboard based on our DNA, and we definitely have had some experiences where we just haven't hired the right fit, and that does have an impact on the culture. We've gone from a team of, it went from 2 to 5 to 12 to 25 to, that we've had kind of exponential growth. So we definitely haven't gotten it all right all the time. But what we do, we're super conscious of that. And our culture is kind of the thing that keeps us moving. And so we do invest the time and the energy. We go away once a year as a team to work on our culture. So we don't talk about business strategy. We don't talk about revenue. We don't talk about transactions. We talk about decision-making or accountability or whatever the thing is that kind of needs to keep us moving and keep us focused. So yeah, we don't get it right all the time, but we try to react pretty quickly when we realize that something isn't quite right. And then also you kind of spend some time working on one area of your culture and something else might start to fall off the wheels a little bit. So you have to, it's an ongoing work in progress.
Yeah, and having a good mindset helps you kind of navigate it, which clearly you do. One of the things I was interested in as well, and you obviously put a lot of emphasis and effort on this part, is your approach to strategy. You're a relatively young organization, but you have a 3-year play. How do you approach that and kind of these dynamic times? You kind of rattled off a bunch of things that you've navigated as a business, like financially, economically, socially. Yeah, how do you approach that?
There is some research behind the sort of strategy, the length of term that you should put behind your strategy document. So 1 year isn't quite enough to be visionary, and 3 years is enough to kind of be outcome focused and future focused. And we do so right about now we're at the 18-month mark of our 3-year strategy. So we will check in to make sure that we're still focusing on the right things. And I think this year might be one of those cases, because we didn't expect the economy to just be in the state that we're currently in. We rely on businesses needing to pay tax. And so we may look at the 18 months ahead and think that actually we need to pivot or reframe some things. But it's good to have a stretch goal, I think.
Definitely. We got a comment coming in from YouTube there. It says, how do you approach what does it say? What would you say to folks that think strategy needs to come from the top down?
Good question. I would say to those people, put yourself in the shoes of being of someone who is expert and highly skilled and is on the ground and in the day-to-day, and imagine being told what the next year for you is going to look like without any input. And I would probably try to ask leadership some hard questions around that, like where does ownership come into it? What does accountability look like? How do you motivate someone when you've just had, when you don't have any input into the direction that your business is heading? So I would maybe try and encourage leaders to have a little bit of empathy and then follow up with some of those questions.
Excellent. Brilliant. And there's a question here. Have you got any open roles? Asking for our friends.
We have one in the market at the moment, and we have a second one that's coming up. So we are looking for we're kind of looking for a unicorn that is great with data and also financial, kind of in a financial controller space. But please just keep an eye on our LinkedIn, or keep an eye out. We are still growing, funny enough. So.
Okay, excellent. Well, unicorns do exist. If you're a unicorn and you're listening or watching, wherever you're listening or watching from, then head to LinkedIn. I want to finish off by saying thank you. Thanks again for being so generous with your time, sharing your insights, taking on a few questions at the end. Clearly, you've got a lot on because you're just winning awards left, right, and centre. Thanks for giving us your time, and all the best for the awards tonight. Enjoy yourself, and we'll be crossing our fingers for you.
Thank you, Ryan. Thanks for having me.